In, get this one zoomed in a bit. Perfection, looking good. Everyone's looking fantastic. Hi, by the way, my name's Paint with Josh. Nice to see you again today. Man, what a cool day of classes I had yesterday. Went and saw some awesome places. Got some wicked cool inspiration for future paintings. Maybe not this one, but future paintings. And got this really cool shirt. Look at that, Paint with Josh. And Happily Painted Oil Painting Workshops. Amazing, amazing. Now, thank you to Danny for these shirts, by the way. We're gonna come over here and we're gonna take a little bit of our Bob Ross Crimson, just very lightly dragging it through onto the brush, very small amount. You can barely even see anything on there. And let me tell you, I've already done my 16 by 20 canvas with our Bob Ross Liquid White. And you can see just about the same amount of paint in all places. You don't wanna have it be goopy or crazy, and we're gonna have a good time. So a little bit of our crimson paint. Yes, very soft, there it is. A little bit of softness out there, right? If we're gonna do that, why don't we do that same thing, but we're gonna put it down here just a little heavier in the water. Now, why would you go heavier in the water, Josh? Well, I'll tell you, because by the time that we get done mixing up all of our colors and different such down here, mixing it with all the other things, we may end up losing some of that. So let's go a little heavier there. Then we're gonna go into our blue and a light amount of black, very, very, very small amount. We're gonna come up here from the top corner, and there it is. It starts depositing downward. Ever downward it will grow, constantly mixing in with that liquid white paint. Now it's gonna start mixing in with our crimson paint so we can determine how far we want that blue color to go. You want it to get all the way down here, that's up to you. How much do you want it to mix? Again, totally up to you. You get to decide, because it's your painting out there, right? Your painting is gonna look different than my painting. It's gonna look different to Joe's and Sally's and Bobby's and all the other people's out there. Because it's your painting, right? It's no one else's painting except for yours. And so, it'll be a little different, and that's okay, right? The more we mix our sky, the more of those colors will dissipate and go away. And so, we have to decide how we want our scene to look, right? It's all up to us. Again, we can determine what we want it to look like each time that we go to do it, okay? Out here, let's take a little bit more of that blue, we'll drag it in around there. We're not really trying to cover everything, leaving some spaces unfilled, and you can tell the difference between a blended sky and a non-blended section of canvas. So, I'm gonna wipe off this Paint with Josh brush. Remember, as far as I know, there are less than 17 Paint with Josh brush sets left. Yours won't come with little googly eyes. That's just, I just added those and thought it'd be funny the other day. If we do another set, I'm going to suggest to the manufacturer that we do include the googly eyes, because I just think it's funny. I don't know, it fits my personality a little bit, right? The craziness. The more you push, the softer it'll become. That is the... Is it an oxymoron? I'm not very smart, guys. So, is it an oxymoron when you have to, like, when something's opposite, right? Am I right in thinking that? I could be totally wrong, right? But it's totally opposite to what you think. So if you need the paint to be very soft and blended, you have to brush it out really hard. If you want the paint to be kind of harder, then you need to touch it less, right? Is that an oxymoron? Again, not a smart person. Not a smart person at all. But if you guys could just, I don't know, maybe look up the definition of that and let me know. All right? Man, we got lots of people watching today, guys. You guys are amazing. Remember, if you're watching over on the Tubi Tubes, just give me a little thumbs up. That's all we need you to do is like the video. It'll help more people come in and watch with you. And we'll all be having a good old time. Now, we're all blended out on our sky. It's nice and faint, right? We're not going to worry about our bottom section just yet. We're going to come in here a little bit of our black, double the crimson, double the blue, right? So there's more blue and crimson than there is black in the furthest away parts of our paintings, right? Now maybe, depends on the scene, maybe, maybe we choose a little bit more black paint as we get a little bit closer, but again, depends on the scene. Just watch the videos once, all the way through, listen to what I do, watch what I do, right? And then you'll be able to do it as well. Now, I'm thinking maybe out here, maybe, now that we've got our dark color all mixed up, maybe I want a little touch of my white, and just a little touch of crimson. We're gonna see what we can do. Ooh, right? Now, what is this gonna look like when it blends out onto my canvas? Again, we're not going to know until we get up there and try. Look at that little V shape. So, if we spread down the paint enough to hold it together, right? So there's a fair amount of paint up there. What if we got it? Ooh, I like that, guys. Got it out there like that. little blast of pink. A lot of times too, you just have these weird, little odd, little pink little bits, right? That are just out there in the sky sometimes. Just exactly like that. That's what I was looking at this weekend, yesterday anyway, checking it out. I always come back with inspo that I then like to share with you guys. Right? A couple little plops, a couple little things out there and above. Now we're gonna go back to our palette tool. We're gonna get into our Paint with Josh plaque, and you guys are gonna check in. Tell me what you're watching from. What's your favorite sandwich? Let me know. And if you've been a fan long enough, you'll know that my favorite sandwich is a spicy Italian. Now we're gonna come out here. We don't need to go too high up into our clouds, right? Get up there like that. We've got a couple little ridges and humps and bumps. We're traveling down and we're just depositing the paint. See the angle change here? So whether or not if you can't see the blade, right? That means we're trying to remove, or like when we're doing our seascapes, be very light with the paint, right? If you can see the blade and the whole thing, that means we're trying to deposit. And you see how much more paint comes off depending on how you angle that blade, right? So when we're scraping, we want to get rid of all that stuff. We're really only worried about what the top edge looks like. There, see that little thing? We're pushing more on the point of the blade at that point, trying to force everything up to the front and have it drop off. And down here too, little guy. I don't want to make him too big, right? They're so much fun. The more you do mountains, the more fun you have at doing them. Just a couple little whips and a whoop and a out here. Why not? I like it. I like it. You can even get in there with your big old 2-inch brush, right? Turn it on the side, slide it out. Right? The more that paint that you slide down, the more it's going to look like a mountain. Right? If we're following along, getting more and more and more flat as we go out this way. Okay, so same side, opposite side, same thing though. Go in here, slide it out. All right, come up to where we gripped it before, slide it out, up to where we gripped it before. You can even change it. First it was going down this way, then you can have it go the other way. It's all up to you. You can have it be straight like that, just exactly like that. Okay, we can even come in here, and let's say there's another little ridge that comes down off of this guy. I'm just gonna add a little bit darker paint, and again, try not to make it just the perfectest thing out there. Okay, we can take our bit of paint right here, slide it down just a little. Take this side, again, slide it down. Now, just because I did this doesn't mean that you need to do it. And if you didn't want it to go all the way in front, which looks wicked neat, right? You come back up and force the paint through the other way. And now all of a sudden you've got this little lip up there, a little thing, a little projection, a little whatever it is. And then you can even get in here even further and say there was another one. Just a little darkness going down, taking it off the other side, swiping it through. Little things, different peaks, different places. It's all about the light and the dark, right? Now let's get in here. Let's mix up a little bit of that light and dark. I'm gonna take that white with just the smallest amount of the pink. There, we don't wanna have a lot of pink, you guys. Too much pink in the snow, and then you're not. We're gonna turn into a Valentine's Day scene, right? Now we're gonna take a little bit of that white as well, and one teeny little smidge of blue down here. There we go, right? You want the color to be similar, but you need it to be different. It cannot be too much the same. So if it is too similar, let's go get a little bit more blue, mix in the blue like that. Right? And now we can tell it's a different color, just a slight variation on itself, okay? So you guys check in one more time. I'm literally coming to look at it right now. I know I say that a lot, but right now I'm coming to look at it. Check in. Where are you watching from? Let me know in the comments below. Right? Let's see where you guys are from. Rick Ross. Every day I'm painting. No, that didn't work. Never mind. Never mind. We got Fort Worth, Puerto Rico, Maine, Melbourne, Mississippi, Sacramento, Oregon, New Mexico, Indiana, Washington, England, North Carolina, Minneapolis, Virginia, unfortunately. Delaware, Trinidad. That's what it said. Not Virginia. I didn't add the unfortunately. That's what she said. Okay? Not me. Now, let's come in here with a little bit of our light blue mix. Okay, we're going to decide maybe off of the back side of this guy. We're going to plop on just literally hovering over the canvas, okay? So what do I mean by that? I mean, we're going to pick up a roll that is now X amount of size on our knife, right? If it's this small, we have to hover that far above the canvas. If it's that big, we have to hover that far above the canvas, you know what I mean? All depends on the size of your roll. So you come on and you touch it. Now you can feel it get stuck because if you pull it away, some of the paint still sticks there and some of it is still stuck here, right? So you can feel it get stuck. Let it whip its way down through, just floating, right? The softer you can be with it, the more it's going to shave away little pieces. Imagine, I'm sure you've seen before, okay? You ever seen one of those videos of like a sawmill where they run a big giant log, like a big giant tree through the thing, like just slice it into different planks of wood, right? You've seen that, right? So think about that, okay? You've got your log, right? Your log on the end of your roll right here, okay? Now the more that I make contact with the canvas and move, the more it's going to shave off my log and it's going to get flatter and flatter and flatter into smaller and smaller and smaller bits of wood, right? If we're thinking about a sawmill type of a thing. So once we get up there, we have to hover over our chunk of log, right? And then the more that we go and the more we contact the canvas, the more of that log is being shaved away. Taken away little bits and little bits and little bits until there's nothing left, right? If you take your log and you push it too much, think about sticking something inside one of those hydraulic presses. I'm sure you've seen those videos before where they put something hard down on the thing and that big thing goes, it just squishes it all, right? It's going, it's all about the sound effects around here. Okay, I'm sure you've seen one of those. So if you have your log on the end of your thing and you push it too hard in your hydraulic press, you're going to squeeze it all into a flat thing, right? And that's not what you want. You want to be able to hover over and just let it shave off little pieces of our wooden log, so to speak, right? Whatever that does. Now, you can come out here. I always try to make it up and try to decide or describe things that we're doing in a way that literally anyone can understand. That's my goal, is to try to describe it in a way that literally anyone can understand. We're gonna go back to that white with our very, very, very small amount of our whitish pink. We did not go back up here for this pile. No, that would have been too much. That would have made more of this color. There it is. More of that color. I'm literally looking at a TV screen that's looking at the back of these 3 screens so I can see each of the shows and where I need to hover over, right? A lot of technicality comes with this show. Okay, let's get over here now. We're gonna take that very, very, very fine bit of pink, whitish color, okay? We're gonna come up here and attach it. And as we go, we're gonna be sawing off little bits of our wooden log until there is nothing left and it's very flat, okay? Then we're gonna wipe it off. We're gonna come back and we're gonna scoop up another little bit. So we have, again, a piece of a giant tree, let's imagine. We've just shrunk it down to this size and we're gonna run it across our saw and it's gonna go and take away little bits. Now it's about half the size that it was before, okay? And then if we come up here and touch it again, now we've taken about 90% of it away. But I can still get up here and play with the paint that's already there. I don't need to keep adding more, right? I can get up here and I can move this. If it's kind of chunky up there, I can push just a little bit harder to get it to move and then back my pressure off so you get the breaks out there, right? All dependent on how you want to do it every single time. Now, what about these little areas back here? What if we had a little bit kind of shaving off our log, right? Heading down over here, maybe there's another little projection of light, just trying to get caught by the sun in the morning mist, right? Then maybe I came back down this way. Now look, I went over that 7 times. Literally, I was like 1, 2, how many times? It did not cover that little slit of a section. Did you see that? Did you see how many times I went over it? Don't try to force it to cover that. The canvas obviously does not want it there after 5, 6, 7 attempts to get it to cover that spot. So leave it, right? Don't try to make it better and in fact end up making it worse because now you've done it so many times and you've gone over it so many times that it's just flattened it all out, right? So it's all about knowing when to stop, guys. You have to know when to stop. I'm gonna make a little bit more of that white pinkish snow that we had out here. You have to know when to stop. And you know how I know? Josh, how do you know when to stop painting, right? It is the equivalent of you taking a step back and looking at your mountain or looking at whatever section of painting that we're doing today, right? Take a step backwards, come back here, okay? That way you can see it. I'm literally looking at a TV screen that is looking at my painting from 6 feet away, which is the suggested distance of how you should view art, okay? So I can look back in real time and see what my painting looks like to you guys without having to go like this and get in the way and see every time that I need to be able to see it, because I'm painting on a very sharp angle over here, right? That's why a lot of the paintings end up going down like that, because of where we stand. So take a step back is my advice, okay? Every time you start feeling frustrated, take a step back and then look at it and then go, okay, that actually looks like a mountain. You know what I mean? Instead of trying to fight it and fight it and fight it. Take a step back or sit there and take a photo of it. Okay? That's gonna help project a little bit of distance, because our phones always make things look further away. If you ever try to take a picture of the moon, what happens? It makes the moon look like this, just the teeniest, tiniest thing way out there when you're looking at it in the sky, like, oh, that's amazing, right? So even if you're sitting at your table, take a picture of it and then look, okay? It's very helpful, I'm telling you, very helpful. Now, let's take our big old 2-inch brush, and just in 16 minutes, we painted a gorgeous little sky and a beautiful little mountain out there. Look at that, you guys. See how soft it became right here? Just from grazing over it. We're not like this, I'm not brushing it, right? That would be too much pressure. No, that would smear the whole mountain, right? What we're doing is kind of holding it like this, with our little eyes close to the canvas, or vice versa, like this, right? And then we're grabbing it very lightly, very softly, just trying to disturb the paint. We're not trying to brush it. We don't want it to move. That's how light we're touching it. Touching it so softly that we don't want it to move. If it moves, then we're gonna smear something that shouldn't have been touched, right? If we want another little projection off our little guy over here, we can do it. We can put it wherever, because it's our little mountain, right? Now, we're gonna wipe off or clean off all that white paint that we did from our clouds, our whitish pinkish paint that we did from our cloudy section, and then we're going to load up again on some of this Paint with Josh plaque mix, but we're gonna make a little change, okay? We're gonna add a bit of green, and when I say a bit, I mean an enormous amount of green in comparison. That's probably a 60-40 mix now. 60-40 green to plaque, okay? That's gonna make, hopefully, a very dark, like army green, almost brownish color, okay? Now, if you have a lot of crimson in your mix of your plaque and a lot of green, the crimson and green are gonna mix and make brown, okay? Which is gonna make brack instead of grack. So let's work on it. Let's just try to make sure our color is looking good before we get up there. That's pretty dark, pretty much what I wanted to see. And you can always test it by grabbing the smallest bit of white and lighten it up. There, ooh, that's nice. Yeah, it's like almost like a pea green color. I like it. Meaning it'll start out very dark as we're back there, farther away. And the more that we mix it in, the more we'll get that kind of greenish tone to our guy, okay? Now, let's come out here and let's imagine we want to miss, this is why we soften this area right here, so we can almost put paint over it, right? The more of this thick paint that you put over this thick paint, it's just gonna be bad. Bob always told us, the one thing that stuck in my head was a thin paint will stick to a thick paint, right? So we can't get up there with thick on thick, it's just not gonna work. So let's come down here, we're gonna start tapping, and then we're gonna get ooh, look at that green, I love it. We're gonna get instantly underneath those thick, snowy things, okay? And I was teaching this in my class earlier yesterday, where we were tapping down, then we're coming over to the side a little bit, coming over to the side, off and off and off, kind of creating like a little pyramid, a little stack, because we're not just painting one tree at a time, right? We're painting 10 to 20 trees that live in a square inch of area, right? So if you have lots of square inches, you're gonna have lots of trees, okay? And you don't have to paint them all just separately. I'm gonna bring this guy down too, just a little bit. Yeah, so we do, ooh, yeah, just like that. Ooh, I like it, right? We're gonna be a little bit, we're gonna get smaller, and we're gonna kind of match those angles. So again, you have to load the brush up with enough paint, and that doesn't mean that it's gonna last forever, right? As soon as you start tapping that thing, after about 4 to 5 taps and we came up again, it's no longer as sharp as it was before, right? So if you want nice little sharp little tip-toppy trees, you have to make sure you've got the paint on there in the right amount, the right darkness, and all the rest of the stuff, okay? Now we're gonna come down a little bit, come up, come down. We're only ever really worried about what the top side looks like, because we're gonna come back in underneath and fill in all that little area, right? I never like it to just be straight across or anything like that. You gotta kind of bounce up and down, have some dark areas, some lighter areas, this, that, or the other. We're not painting Buckingham Palace. Nothing out there has to be perfectly straight, right? Or nice and pruned and trimmed. Just paint a far away bunch of trees off in the distance. Okay, we're gonna come up a little bit higher, but trying not to contact that snowy bit. Our trees will not want to sit on it, right? It's too thick up there. They don't want to sit there. They want to attach themselves to the already painted or brushed out sections of our canvas versus the areas that are untouched, right? Now we're gonna come in here, we're gonna take from the kind of about the middle, we're gonna drag those guys up, and then we're gonna launch in some reflections and see what they look like. Right? The more that we swipe at these guys, pulling them up just a little, right? We wanna pull our brush away. Sometimes before we even get to the top of the trees, depending on how thick the paint is up there, pull it away, pull it away, pull it away, pull it away. Just like that. Sometimes you'll drag up maybe 1 or 2 or 10,000 little branches and little tree tops that don't have any bristles and stuff like that. It's really cool. Okay, now in order to make it look like I want it to look, oh yeah, hang on, we gotta come over a little bit further. Now, in this painting, right, I was literally sitting at Trillium Lake. It was gorgeous out there. It was so calm and so quiet and so, like almost scarily quiet. Like the silence was deafening. It was so loud, you would almost go deaf. So quiet, you'd almost go deaf, right? Which again, is like one of those oxymoron things where it's opposite of what you would think it would be. Now, as you can see, bing, bang, boom, we've kind of matched it, right? So we're coming down like this, we're going down like that. We're gonna come down this side. And it's only if we're painting scenes like this on a lake where we don't really have much to the left except for fresh open water, right? Now, out here, depending on how far you pull down, is gonna determine how far they're gonna grow, right? And again, let's mix this guy up just a little bit because I feel like that green's gonna grow a whole lot down, and then we're not gonna have a chance to soften our water. There we go. There, right? A little bit like that. Now watch what happens when we come in here. Depending on, we just pull a little bit, it's just very slightly going to change, okay? We cannot just do it at one straight line all the way through, okay? Or one straight line all the way across. That's gonna make it look like all the trees that are out there are on the opposite side of this flat line. That's not what we wanna do, right? As we come down here, we're going to drop down a step. So if I'm right here, I pull it down, okay? I'm gonna start lower than I was before. So we're up here, now we're down here. We're gonna start lower, we're gonna drag it down a little bit more, okay? We'll start a little bit lower again, so you can see these steps as you're going down. Each one of these steps, the closer that you bring it, right, the closer it's going to look because it's at a lower point than the high point up here. See what I mean? So it's going to look like it's getting closer to you as we go, right? You can always go like that. And you don't even have to show land, right? You literally don't. All you have to do is show where that reflection starts. Right? The reflection starts back there. You can see, right? Then you don't need to put any land in there because it's very far away. Come down there like that. Again, drop down. See this guy down here. Drag it up, drag it up, drag it up, drag it up. Filling in that empty area. There. Look down, down, farther, longer, crazier on the side. Right? That is a cool looking lake already. Now, you can see my reflections are there, okay? If we drag over too much or too many times in one way, from one direction, it will start to take the reflections and pull them or make them wobbly, right? So it's almost like being even. There we go. Whatever you want it to look like. Very soft, right? We can see where our reflections start. We can see where our little trees are and such. Very cool, very cool. Now, I don't need this green paint anymore. Right? I just don't need it. It's a lot of stuff out there really for nothing. I mean, if we wanted to, we could pop in, okay, we could use it here and just put in like just a nice thick line of our land out there, as closer as it gets to this side. We don't really see much. It's very much trees right on top of the water out there. But just to help our brains kind of separate things and make it easier for you. And just to help you see how far down that land can actually wrap its way around, right? And make it look more round to you. Or you could literally take it out if you didn't like it. Pull it down, swipe it over, and then all of a sudden it's gone again. how many times can you do a cool little painting, you guys? That's what I want to know. It's like, how many times can you do something cool? We can even get out there, and if there's any thick amount, right? Like a little ridge on the front, or maybe you made it a bit too big or whatever. We can have a second little darker reflection underneath him just by doing the same exact things, pulling down very slightly, pulling over side to side, and leaving those differences out there. Right? Now, if we're going to have a bit of land, I would assume we may have a bit of just far away. Look, it's just pure titanium white, and it's the very smallest amount, right? So it stays looking far away. We don't need it to be close. We want it to be very far away. Okay, we don't have to do anything that we don't want to do. You could blend this guy up a little bit more. There we go. Oh, we don't have that pink thing hanging out right there. Still got our green color of our water, creating the reflections of our sky. It's very gorgeous. Now, we do need to mix up a bit of our plaque mix out there, because we're going to be putting in all of our foreground now. This chunk of paint skin or whatever it is. Putting in our foreground. If your white lines are ever too thick, just swipe over them a little bit, and that's going to help them get a little softer, just all on their own. You don't even have to do anything about it. Start scraping this guy back up into those trees a little bit. Yeah, just want to see a little bit more land. The more land that we do see, though, right, the closer it's going to make that other side of our lake, right? So, the less you do, the better. That's the goal about it, okay? Now, you guys check in, tell me where you're watching from, and then we're going to get out here, and we're going to paint ourselves just some awesome little bit of a, it's almost like a bit of grass or bushes or land. Then we're going to put our big old foreground tree right here. It's going to be gorgeous. Just gorgeous, you guys. Amazing. So, we got Virginia Beach, Atlanta, Florida, Nebraska. That's cool. North Dakota over there on the tube. India, I like that. South Dakota. And we're going to Nebraska again. Cali. We've got a person named Dakota watching from Cali. Why are you not from one of the Dakotas? Maine, Indiana, Boston. KC, Missouri. I know what that is. Kansas City. That's awesome. Okay, let's get out here. We're going to start really bringing it in. Now remember, this lake is so wide that you don't have to bring in something from the left side, right? You don't really have to, really. Get rid of all this grack mix because it's too bright for being into the foreground. This is why we made it a lighter color back there, so that we could take our darker color, which is our normal plaque mix that we use all the time, and that's going to project it being closer because of its darkness. The darkness out there. Now, I went to go see, have you ever seen the movie The Shining, right? Because I'm going to be watching it in about, well, it depends if I do 2 shows or not, but between an hour to 3 hours, I'll be watching The Shining. So have you ever seen that movie? And there's a reason that I bring it up. So answer me honestly. Have you ever seen the movie? If not, watch it. It's a really cool kind of a horror movie from back in the day. You know what I mean? Not all the craziness that we have today, but still very, very, very good movie. So I went to go see Timberline Lodge, which rests at the base of this mountain back here, Mount Hood, right? This is from the back side. You can see I have my projection right here, which you would, if we were to paint it from this side, you'd see my normal mountains, right? So, at the base of this guy rests Timberline Ridge, and in some of the exterior shots of the hotel where Jack Nicklaus goes insane from getting snowed in, right? They're using the Timberline Ridge for those video shots. And so now that I've gone and actually seen the place, I want to go back and rewatch the movie and be like, oh, I've stood right there. You know what I mean? I want to see if I can spot what's real and what's not. So it's gonna be a cool thing. Me and Bailey are gonna go watch that. And it's going to be awesome. Okay, now we're going to get out our bushy brush, but we also need to put our tree in right here. Now, in my reference photo that I took, right, there's a very skinny, young little baby Douglas fir Christmas tree that's just growing right here. He's just so cute. He's probably as tall as I am, and it's not very full in his branches or anything, but it was just the cutest little tree. And I was like, oh, I need to take a picture of that. And so I have that photo. And basically what it is our land comes out this way as we're getting onto where we can stand, right? And then we're going to have our tree and a couple of our bushes sitting right there. And it's literally a snapshot of what I took earlier today. Yesterday. So we're going to come over here like this. We're going to grab that. So we're going to pull it down, down, down. I'm going to go see Timberline Lodge today. That was cool. Over here, so we're going to put our biggest thing in there first, right? I don't want to put the bushes in and then go back and stick my tree in, unless that tree is gonna sit in front of those bushes, when in this case, it's kind of all on the same plane. Now you would think, why is there no land here for these things to sit on? Shouldn't Josh have put a little bit of that, or made like a bit, or brushed out some darkness or something? Why would we do that? We're gonna cover that, right? We don't need to paint that because it's gonna be behind what we're painting now. Therefore, we won't be able to see it, right? So it's kind of like, get it to where you feel like you can cover it, and as long as you can cover it, it's gonna make sense, okay? Now, otherwise, we're gonna paint all this, and then we're gonna put our thing over the top of it, and then think to ourselves, why did we waste our time doing that? All right, so let's get out here. And what I wanna do, I kinda wanna try something. There's way too much paint on this brush to do it. I do want to try though. Okay, since I'm going to use this area down here for bushes and stuff, and it's going to get dark, I saw so many of these trees out there, you guys, and I want to try to see what it looks like on a, and you guys know me, I do everything live, right? So let's imagine that this tree branch that I'm about to paint is somewhere else in the painting versus here, okay? This is just, I don't want you to do this if you're following along with the tutorial. I just want to try something, and you guys know me, I always try stuff live for us, okay? So let's imagine we had our big tree standing out here, wherever, and this thing is actually way up here, but we're gonna paint it down here only because I'm gonna cover this area, right? So let's say I had my little branch coming down, wherever, right? Coming out from off of my tree down into here. This is what I'm gonna attempt to do with the paint up the bristles, because as we all know, it's the paint that climbs up the bristles that makes the shape. It's not the tip of the bristles that make the shape. That's not gonna do anything. That's gonna make these out there. If we wanna make branches, it's about what climbs up here. Now this is some classified stuff, because I've never done this before. Okay, so if it looks like butt, we're gonna cover it anyway. But if it looks like butt, then just cut me some slack. It's my very first try, right? And I always do stuff live right in front of your guys' eyes. Now these trees are like they're like Bob's hang-me-down, saggy, the ones that are just loaded full. And they're different. They don't have those upturned branches like I like, right? So what we're gonna try to do is, we're gonna touch onto this thing, and then we're gonna attack, right? Pop it down, okay, right? Maybe, okay, that's a little bit better. What if we turned it down? So you gotta have it like, it's these bits that hang off of our tree branch, right? So it's the same thing as what we're doing. It's all about how would you drop off. And I figured if I went like that and pushed it again, that's what you want right there. So it's all about having the right amount of paint on the brush. But you're pushing it down, and then those things are just kind of hanging down like that, okay? Now, it all depends on how long they hang, right? We can turn the brush sideways and stuff like that. But that looks like one branch of one of these. Okay, so all right, I'm gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it on this painting, but I'm gonna do it up in the sky at some point. So be ready for it when it does actually happen. And you don't go, oh my God, what is he doing? Right? We're gonna do a lot of those. So we're gonna come out here with our plaque mix, forgetting this is even here, okay? Back to the tutorial. Let's get out here and let's pop in at least 1 to 2. I love this right here. It's probably the best tree out of the whole forest. So I don't wanna cover it, right? Let's get over here and just miss him slightly. We don't need to be taller than our mountain, and you can literally tap it down if you wanted to. If you don't want to drag down like that, right? You can tap it down. It doesn't matter. Honestly, nothing out there matters. It's how you make the shape. So if you can make the shape a certain way, then make the shape that way, right? If you make it upside down, or right side this way, or that way, or whatever, make it the way that is easiest for you, okay? We're gonna come in here with that darkness. We're gonna be actually, let's get our binder brush back out. Let's get this guy back out, and off of this guy, pop out, just a couple little twigs, little sticks, bang, right up through the top, right? Just to have some bits that they don't have any branches on. And I saw so many trees out there that did not have any little branchy bits. We're gonna start popping in things out here, a little bit lower, start to make our little Z shapes back and forth, right? Not everything is going to be this perfect symmetrical deal on either side, right? Maybe we drop down. This is how I was doing them in class. We're going to drop down. We're going to make just a little bit of an arc. It's basically just the same arc that our fan brush makes. Just go like that, okay? Just touching it again. Now, I don't want everything to be that same width across or that same darkness. What I'm going to do is maybe, let's get in here like this and just slap something out. Bang, right there, just kind of pushing it against it, letting the paint attach, okay? So same thing we do off this side, we kind of hit it, push it out, hit it, push it out. The more you do that, the more you'll start popping out little branches and little things. And then it's up to you how big you want them to be, how full, how dark. You want to fill the whole thing up and have it be like that? Do you want to have an empty space where all of a sudden now we might be able to see some stuff, bit of trunk, bit of thing, bit of stuff in there. And if you don't like the trunk, just fill it in, but you don't have to fill in the whole trunk or the whole span, right? Every tree can be a little bit different out there. That's the best part about doing them. All the differences we can make, all the little things, just kind of pushing it against, letting it stick, right? All this stuff down here becomes bushes anyway. But just like that, got a funky looking little tree out there, right? We can extend it if we didn't like those branches or whatever, however we want. We can fill in these little areas if we don't like them. We're not trying to fill it all the way out to the edge, but they don't have to cut in so far into the tree, right? It is, again, whatever we feel like it should be is what we are going to paint. If I feel like it should be more or less or whatever, right? Or have a little branch up there or one up there or here or there or whatever. It's what it does, guys. That's what they look like when you're out there. I'm being totes for reals, right? Not everyone is this perfect shape. And we try to always go back and make it perfect, right? And in order to get it, or try to, as long as they, excuse me, if they keep getting bigger as they go upwards, right? Then you have to keep making it taller, and taller, and wider, and wider, in order to compensate for its growth up top, right? So again, we are in control each time that we go to do something. It's another chance. Let's do a little bit different, a little bit more crazy. A little branch in there, a little branch onto this guy. Maybe turn him from a upward facer to a downward facer, just because I want to. Like, this is the chance to do it, if anything, right? When it's still dark, before you put those highlights on. That is your chance to experiment with your tree, or whatever it is. We'll do another guy down right there. Just like that, a couple more times. The more we go in, the more we start mushing it on, making sure these guys overfill, right? We can't see the base of the other guy. We just want to make sure they're nice in there, nice and tightly packed, right? All up there, like those sardines worth of trees. That's what we're doing. Packing for a road trip. Let's pop another guy in right here too. Just because I want to see it. How many little times or different ways can we do little things? Leave off a little bit, pop it in down here, pop it in over here. And then we're deciding when it looks filled, when it looks good, right? It's up to us, and every person has a different experience or a different version of, yes, that's filled in enough, or no, that's not, right? It needs more here, it needs more there. That is up to every person individually, okay? Very cool. Now, let's take a bit of our darkness again. We need to mix up a bit more. You guys got to check in. Just tell me where you're watching from out there. Take our plaque mix. We got our black, our crimson, our blue. Mix them up together. Get that really thick. This paint is like icing, you guys. It's literally like you're icing a cake with this just really heavy stuff. Firm, right? Just firm old stuff out there. Now, as we come down here, okay, we're going to plop right into the heaviest portion of the paint, getting it onto our brush, trying to help it split apart. It's not even on the bottom half. It's only on the top half of the brush, okay? Then I come out here from the downward angle like this, not just straight onto it, not from beneath or whatever. Downward angle, so it's hitting like that and bending and then pulling away. Okay, the more times we do that, the more little spaces will get filled in, right? So we know we don't want every space to be filled in. So what do? We miss some areas. We don't cover it all, right? Because we know we've done it before. We've covered too much. We've done this, we've done that, right? We've all made mistakes and done things that we wish we hadn't have, okay? Not just you. Get out there, pull it in. Now, that gives us a lot of room, you guys. We could get out here and literally grip it on, right down here. Start sliding it out, right? Maybe pull up a little bit higher on the next one. Bring it down like that. And come out here, bring that guy down, right? Just cutting new land into all these things. I never really like it when they're just hanging off the bottom, right? When they're hanging off the bottom, it just looks lazy. Like you couldn't have come up here and just put a little bit of land in it. Really? You just had to plop them right off the bottom edge. Very cool. Isn't that neat? Isn't that just gorgeous, you guys? And literally, if you wanted to put something here or whatever, totally up to you, right? I'm not going to do it because it looks amazing. I'm not doing it, but that's totally up to you what you do for your painting, okay? So now, let's clean off those brushes. We're going to get some nice, clean, dry brushes out here in order for us to work. All right, we got to have clean utensils. So while I'm cleaning off the brushes, you guys just check in. Tell me where you're watching from out there. And remember, limited Paint with Josh brush kits left in existence. Guys, I'm telling you, if you love the Paint with Josh brush kit, there are only a few left. And so, get over there while you can. Here, over there. Yeah, man, it's such a cool time teaching those seascapes and the landscape. Danny taught the first painting, and then I was teaching the seascape. It was so much fun. Everybody had a great time. Everybody had a really great painting by the time they were finished. And it's just neat. So much fun. There we go. That guy all cleaned up. Now, obviously, we're not going to leave him looking just like this, right? We've got to go back in there and highlight some stuff. Some different stuff. Thanks to the viewer. I appreciate it there over on the Tubi Tubes. See, look at you guys. You gave me all those little thumbs ups, and now there's way more people here, right? That's how it's supposed to work. Now, we're going to highlight these little trees, keeping in mind that all of our light is coming in from the right-hand side, so all the backhand side should be a little bit darker. And in which case, we're going to use our... Let's use some of our liquid clear, guys. Let's grab that liquid clear out. Let's see what this does. We're going to try something new again, because again, on the Paint with Josh show, we're live. We try things live. We practice live. Right? Everything is live over here. And so, I can show you guys in real time, literally live, what would happen if you did this or if you did that, right? So we're going to take our liquid clear. I just dipped in the smallest bit, maybe 1/4 inch. Maybe about up to there, just on the one side, not even this side. This side doesn't even have paint on it, okay? So, we're gonna go into our sap green. Now the liquid clear is gonna be like the liquid white. It's going to make our green color very wet, and it's going to help it deposit from this brush onto this thicker paint, hopefully, right? That's the whole gig. So we're gonna get up there, bang, okay, perfection. Right, the more I come in here and start tapping on little bits, and pop out, not necessarily even covering over all the shadows or whatever, because we need all those darker areas, right? What we're doing, we're kind of letting the brush kind of flare out and smack against the canvas like that. Right? Each one is going to intermix, it's going to get darker, right? All sorts of craziness. Now we're going to go back, and we'll wipe off the thing. We're going to go back into that liquid clear and sap green mixture over here. We're going to start popping in little beans. Just kind of popping them out. Same thing on our little guy over here. Little bits just off his backside, right? And that way, when we put on our lighter green, it's going to have some of this darker green to play off of, right? Do you see? Do you see? Darker color. Maybe not even see the whole thing, because that whole bright side, or the whole guy's gonna be seen in the bright part of his sky over there. Okay. Yes. Remember, this one is available. You can grab it. As always, the peach is my favorite person ever. We're gonna take our, let's see, let's switch over. There we go. We're gonna grab our little fan brush. Gonna grab our liquid white. And we're going to go into our sap green and our yellow, our cad yellow, right? Gorgeous, right? And tapping into it, making it kind of mushy, kind of, sappy, soppy, like loose, weird, you know what I mean? Then we're going to come over here and start tapping on little places, very lightly, remembering. We don't even have to keep it a straight line. We don't want to go all the way over, right? Little themes. Almost like Christmas lights, right? So we're very thin up here, and then you got a little space in between, little space in between, little space in between, space in between, space in between, space in between. Not a perfect straight line, but space is in between. That guy looks like he needs a bit of color right there. But again, left a spot in between them because you can't cover everything. Now, we are not used to doing this with these kind of trees, all right? It's just not the normal tree that I paint, but I'm gonna try to think of it the same way by keeping a little bit of space, working down in a Z shape, right? Do what you always tell us to do, Josh. Right? So if I was gonna work down in a Z shape, I'd be over here, over there, over here, over there, over there. Holy heck in a handbasket. That is fantabulous. Look at it, look at it. Z shapes, Z shape, Z shape, right? Never come too far over onto your shadowy side though. Nobody wants to see the bright spots all the way onto the shadow. You have to have a shadow. Otherwise, it'll hurt our eyes. You guys! There we go. Down, down, down. That whole guy, he's kind of hidden by these bigger guys' shadows if all the light's coming and casting in anyway. Don't really got to worry about those guys. Just a little too much, all right, over there. Let's come get our liquid white again. Gonna go down in here into our chappy green. A little bit of that chap green, a little bit of our cad yellow out there. We're gonna go to paintwithjosh.com if we want to grab up on this painting over here. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Look at this guy. Look at this little fella. Look at these little things in the night out here, right? All up to us how far they come down. All things are up to us. Ladies and gents, we get to do the most amazing things, right? We get to decide what our little world is gonna look like I would say all the time. Woo! It's fabulous. That is fabulous. We're gonna come over here, we're gonna grab some of those guys. Different elevations again. We're not trying to make everything all exactly the same. And now that this is nice and soft, right? I mean, in reality, there was dirt there, but it's almost just screaming to have some grass. We're gonna come in here, again with the Paint with Josh 2-inch. Let's get a little of that, can we? Yes, a little bit of that yellow ochre is still viable from the other day. A little touch of our sap green. So all three colors on the brush, right? Come down, tap it out, back it up, tap it out, back it up. Right? How's it start looking? You decide as you're going how it's looking. Very light little taps in here because we don't want to mush even all that grass texture, right? Oh, guys, is that not fabulous? Just a cute little thing you could just walk right out onto, don't you think? Oh, don't ya know? Just don't ya know over there. Let's see, do we have, am I good enough, right? This spot right here, to me, needs to be a little darker in there. To you, might look like some branches or whatever, right? But I'm gonna see if I can get just one little touch of black on the one side of the brush. Contact the brush only in the area that needs to be darkened, maintaining the light highlight color so that we can then, we need more of it, but you know what I mean, and we can then plop it down. Get out there. Oh man, now because our canvas has a white base, we can get in here, scrape out little sticks and twigs, different little bits that are growing from the bottom, from the top, little places, right? Don't all need to be exactly the same. My favorite part, I just right through up into the water, scraping away little areas here and there and here. All over the place, guys. Fabulous. Want to make it look like we've got a couple more trees, or you want to make sure that your tree is nice and sharp on the top, just run your palette knife up right through there. Make a nice little sharp little tip-toppy of a tree. Oh, isn't that amazing? I'm gonna do it right here too. Zip, zap, zoop, pull it down. Now, let's take one little touch. Since I have it, if you don't have it, out and available, I didn't say to get it out. Let's take a little bit of that pink, a little bit of that brown. There, just a little touch, a little thing. Right, maybe come in here, tap on one or two little indications of a little trunk that might be trying to show its way through on these little old guys out there in the night. Right, now why? Say we have kind of, even this one, they're not perfectly straight across exact. It's kind of going down, 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 wherever you want to have it. But I never like to make them all like they're just in a straight line all the way across, right? Always looks a little funky when you do them like that. So, perfect, guys. Start coming up with a title for this one. Let me know what you think out there, what we should call it. Pop in a couple little sticks even out there in the grass, literally. You do whatever you want to do. It's up to you, right? Wherever they're popping out of. Seriously, what do you feel like? What do you feel like doing when you're out there doing it? You want a couple little things out there, and you got to put them there. If you don't like them, guess what's cool about that? Tip, tap, chip, chap, they're all gone and erased, right? We're hiding. You know, a little bit more of my yellowy grass kind of out here along the bottom because it'll be catching some of the light, perhaps. Just perhaps, again, you can paint it how you see fit. A little shadow back behind this little downward projection of our grass over here, right? Guys, tell me that's not freaking wicked cool. Just so cool, you guys. Very neat. Okay, now you guys start coming up with the title. I like it. I love it. I want some more. Dude, should we try? Okay. Is this one gone yet? Let's see, right? That's going to determine what happens. I don't see any notification. So, man, that's cool looking. That is cool looking. Okay, thank you, Cosmic. Very cool. So, you know what we're going to do? Just like what we practiced down here, we could. Right there, but God, I don't know. I kind of like it. I kind of want to go watch The Shining. Like, do I really want to spend more time and then not watch The Shining? No, right? No, dude. I mean, do we have enough? Is there so many fallen logs and stuff out there too? You can do whatever. I'm not gonna mess with it though. I'm not gonna touch it. Okay, you guys are awesome. I love you. I'm gonna finish cleaning off these brushes. You come up with a title, okay? And then me and Stephen King have a date. Or Steven Spielberg, or whoever. Me and Stephen King Spielberg have a date, okay? We're gonna be watching The Shining. And Mr. Nicholas just do an amazing performance. Peaceful Lake, I like that one. Fishing Hole, there were tons of people fishing out there, you guys. Legit tons of people out there fishing. Now, let's just see this. What if? Can we make a change? Can we make a change even after the front is in, Josh? See, I don't like any of that side bit back there. I do like that one, right? So can we make a change even after the foreground is in? You absolutely can. It's all up to you, what you want to do out there, and where you're putting your little schwippies. Oh, yes. A little foggy, a little misty. Can't really tell what's going on. That's what I like. Right? No craziness. And then I can decide if I want to go back. Just a very small indication though. We don't want to be able to see everything out there. That's cool. That is cool, guys. And again, literally, there's a whole nother try at it. And we can try again whenever we want, quite honestly. All right, we're gonna take our newer liner brush. I figured out just over about 1,000 paintings. That other liner brush is just too thick anymore. It just won't keep a straight line. And then, you know, brushes wear out, of course. Just like everything else. Out there, over here, in the night. Just flying through, you guys. That's wicked. That is wicked. One more touch up here. Bang. All things possible. Very light. Very light. There was even, like, literal bits of bushes and different things that were over on the other side. We could add those in too. Why not? Who says we can't? We can pop down some reflections of those little guys into the water back there. And then very lightly, all depends where we want it to be, where we put stuff. And you can do it differently every single time. There's the amount of paint that I want to have. Turn it from a lake into a river. Have this thing come down and project out even further if you want. It's up to you guys, literally. You guys are in control. Straight the name, change it up. Angle it up over this way. It might look like a little hill in the back, right? You can do whatever you want to do. And the more that you do, the cooler it's going to be. touch of our white, a little bit of our waterline, our edge, clean it up just a little bit. Boom, guys, I like it. I like it. I love it. I want some more of it. Very cool. Very cool. Dude, here's Johnny Lake. I like that. I like that. Start hitting me with some Shining references, because that is a good idea for a title, you guys. Legit. All right? God, this guy came out so good looking. We could put another one over here too, just to get rid of what I don't like in this painting. All right, fine. You've got me for another 5 to 8 minutes, I guess. We're gonna pop in, like, it's just, I don't know, something's hitting me about it. And, you know, we're our own worst critics, of course. You guys are probably like, oh, don't touch it, leave it, it's perfect, this, that, and the other. I feel you, but, if I don't like it, then I'm gonna be sitting there stewing over the fact that I just left it when I could have made it better, right? So here we go, check this out. Oh God, oh my goodness. Do we want to put the tree trunk in? We almost have to. And then you've got to dangle off those big old branches, but then you got to do a lot of them, right? We've never done one full size on a canvas before, and I'm going to cover up my birds if that happens too. So let's save that for another painting. Let's get up here. We got to get taller though. We got to get taller. We got to get bigger. We got to get crazy. It's got to come down all the way off into this part of our grass. And that way it's sitting over here, helping us out. Now, like I said, Josh, just do as you tell the people to do all the time, and then maybe we'll see what happens. Okay? Angle the brush away, we're going to tap at it. We're going to start tapping. And then as we get bigger, we're going to start getting over to the side, and then over to the side, over to the side, over to the side. Continually tap it. Tap it. Dropping down. Leave a space. Not everything out there has to be filled, right? Not every bit. And you guys know me. I do not like downward saggy trees. I like the upward guys. But that's only because I can paint the upward guys easier. I can do it more simply. They're my more favorite tree, right? Hang me down. I'm going to do this exactly how I would do the upward ones, except in reverse, obviously, right? So with the upward ones, I would make our little smile like we did out there, and then I would put in a few little oddities, and then I would make another little bigger smile as we went down. Right? Pop our little smile out, fill in the ends, pop it in, pop it out. Not everywhere has to be the same, right? Little things, little things. You guys are learning with me. We're just here learning. There, dangle a couple of these little guys. There we go. Kind of turn the brush over a little bit. Have some little danglers coming off the side. It's whatever, literally. Up to us. Each time, the section in between the longer ones is less. It's less thick. It doesn't go out as big. All that, right? Launch it out. Launch it out. Fill it in. Launch it out. Fill it in. What do you guys think? What do you think? We should leave a little trunk on that guy, shouldn't we? I agree. Let's leave a little trunk on that guy. Let's leave an old trunk on him. Right through there. Gorgeous. Now, let's take the last of our paint. We're going to load up on that dark color. Pop something in. Right over there. There. Gorgeous. Fabulous. We could even attach it into the grass. We could do all sorts of stuff, right? Or we could get up there, pop in little bits, little things, and whatever. Just living out here. Living their best life out there. Now I like it. Now I'm digging it, right? And we've got a taller tree. It looks like we can just walk right through a little pathway down to the water. Or just throw our fishing poles in right there. That's what I like, guys. So, hit me with your titles. Make sure that they are Shining themed, right? So, here's Johnny. Doc. Remember, Doc is the old guy that gets that right in the... You know what I mean? You got Doc. You got... Who was the guy that lived in his finger? What was the name of the voice that lived in his finger? Was it Tommy? Who remembers? If not, someone look it up. What was the name of the voice? It's like, hi, Mrs. Torrance. Like, who? What was the name of that? Right? Maybe that could be the name of the painting. Oh, I remember his name. Danny's not here, Mrs. Torrance. Tell me that didn't make you like a chill and you're like, where did Danny go? No? No? Fine. You guys are no fun, man. You're no fun out there, man. There's no fun, man. There we go. Who's got the name? Let's see. Anybody? Well, it was Tony. It was Tony. It's Tony. He lives in my finger. I remember, guys. Thank you for that. He's not here, Mrs. Torrance. Oh, I'm already getting the chills, you guys. It's like your wife and son don't seem to like it here at the hotel, Mr. Torrance. Dude, I'm so excited. I gotta go home and watch this movie now. Legit, I've seen the outside of the building. I want to go home and rewatch it. I even went inside to the new, the actual Timberline Lodge. And that's when you could tell that it was different from the actual one that they have in the movie. But the outside shots are gonna be cool. Wendy's Darling Lake. I like that. I like it. Can never get your dried up palette clean again. Any suggestions? Only use one arm and one hand. So Christine, what I do, if I wanted to, like, if you've got maybe like one of, the flat razors you use to like scrape off stickers off of windows, just like the flat razor thing. I tend to use my palette tool, and when it gets stuck in there, you got to kind of cut into, there it goes, cut into it, and it's going to take a while, right? Like, it doesn't come off easily. I would put it on the table. You've got one hand, okay? Put it on the table, kind of push down and let this thing get underneath, and then slide out. And if anything, I could, like, if I only had one hand and I had use of my knee, I could put my knee on it to hold it down while I scrape that stuff. It is very, very hard to come off, even with two hands, okay? Which is why when mine gets to a point where it's just so chunked on there, I'll give the painting away to whoever bought, give the palette away to whoever got the painting for that show. And it's always, I mentioned it beforehand, like, hey, this thing's on its last leg. If you get the painting, you'll get this with all the dried paint on it. I'll just leave it until it's all dry and send it to you. But yeah, once it gets stuck on there, it's very, very, very difficult to get off. You could try to soak it in like paint thinner, or continually drip paint thinner on it as you're trying to scrub this stuff, get it to get underneath. It usually, you know what I mean? Even like this, it's just eventually it won't come off after a while. So that's when you get a new Paint with Josh palette. No. That's what I would do. Okay, now let's get over here, and again, we're going to listen to our own selves in what I would normally say to you guys if I was like, okay guys, now you gotta go cover it up. Now this time we're using our odorless mineral spirits, which I feel like is going to drop it off even easier and have it stick even better right there. Right? We're not pushing too hard. We're not trying to cover over bits. And we don't need a whole lot of that darker green, right? Don't need a whole lot of it. It just proves on these guys. Don't have too much. You don't want to have too much paint thinner on your brush when you go to do that either, okay? Now we'll go back again. We're gonna grab up. Yeah, I like this little guy. We're gonna grab up our green with our liquid white and the cadmium and the yellow ochre. Just mix them all. A little bit. Remember, we don't need to have a whole lot. We'll start tapping off, going back, tapping off, going back, off and back, off and back, off and back, off and back. Now eventually, you won't, most likely anyway, you will not have enough paint on the brush in order to do it in one sitting, and that's okay. I don't either. I never do, right? It's not like, oh no, I didn't get enough, and now that's it. I can't do it anymore. Right? Tap out onto these guys, tap it back, tap it out, tap it back, out, tap it back, out, tap it back. Not trying to cover every place, not trying to do too many things or make one area brighter or too bright versus another area, right? All about us, what we feel like, leaving that darker section towards the back. We did that on purpose. Very cool, guys, very cool. I like it. I like it. Okay, we need a title for reels this time. for realsies. Hit me with your titles. Now I've got all the brushes clean. There's no more paint on the palette. We can do nothing further from here. There's no more room to go back. There is nowhere to go. So, hit me with your titles. And this one of my faves. Literally, I was sitting at this, almost this exact spot. This tree wasn't here. Those ones were. I was sitting there, looking at this gorgeous mountain. Which, if you've ever seen Mount Hood from this angle, this looks exactly like it did. My heavens. Come play with us on the lake. Oh yeah, because of the two girls. The two ghost girls. And the river of blood. Fisher's Dream, I like that. Ooh, Timberline, what was that? Timberline Trail, I like. Time Stands Still. Here's Johnny Lake, I like that. Hood River, it's close to Hood River. This is Trillium Lake in reality, where I was at, Trillium Lake. Just underneath the shadow of Mount Hood. Epic Mount Hood, guys, literally, if you've never been, and I know everyone's like, oh, Rainier's like so much nicer, look. I disagree. Go literally stand at the base of Mount Hood. Look upon it with your eyes and understand why the ancient people were so, it was a holy place. It was always something to do with giant mountain because they're so awe-inspiring. It's just huge. You look at, you're like, I've got tall mountains where I live. Not as tall. Literally, not as tall. I think Mount Hood's like 11,000, 12,000 feet. And you're literally looking at it like, oh my God. It's insane. So yeah, go check it out. That's my thing. 10 out of 10 would definitely recommend you go check out Mount Hood. And all the surrounding areas because it is so pretty. It is just so pretty. Okay, we're gonna pick a title. Here we go, guys. Let's get Shining Dawn. That's it. Can we do that? Come fish with me. I like that. This is the first one I saw, though, and I like it. Shining Dawn. It was almost dawn. It was just after dawn when I was there. But, Shining Dawn. I do like Danny's Not Here, Mrs. Torrance. It's a long title, but I like it because Danny is not here. He was not there when I was there anyway. There was no Danny. There was no Tony. There was no Wendy. And there was no Jack. It was all work and no play. We could have named it All Work and No Play. Makes Josh a dull boy. That's funny. Over there, I don't know what that word is. We're just going to leave it, though. Again, don't watch me write. It makes me nervous. 2079. Yeah, we're freaking there. What's it? Shining Dawn. I like that. And then, again, stop watching me write. It makes me nervous that you're watching me write. Okay? This one's painted on 9/29/2029. We're all going to go to Paint with Josh. Dyke, because that's the best place to be, literally. All right, now, Fabutastic came out amazing. You guys are awesome, as always. But as I said, all work and no play makes Josh a dull boy. So, we're gonna end the night. Oh, is it raining again? Oh, it's just pissing it down. Glad my windows are up. This one came out wicked cool, guys. Literally wicked cool. Seriously. Shining Dawn. I like that. Amazing. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you. Appreciate it, guys. So, everybody who's watching over on the Bookie Book and the Chubby Tube, you guys are amazing. I love you all. I can't wait. Come back. Maybe we'll do it tomorrow. No, tomorrow's my day off. I told Bailey we'll probably go to the beach tomorrow. Burrito from our favorite Mexican spot down there. Fantastic. And all the brushes are clean. You guys are amazing. So everybody watching over on the Bookie Book and the Tubey Tube, I can't wait to see your versions of this painting. Please send it in to me on Facebook at Official Paint with Josh or Instagram at Paint with Josh K. You can also find me on TikTok at Paint with Josh K or on the old YouTube channel at Paint with Josh. I love you guys so much. I'm glad that you decided to hang out and spend your evening with me, and you're awesome. Thank you so much. So, you guys take care. Have the rest of a good day. And wow, boosh. My voice is cracking like a 12-year-old. Just, oh man.